Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على دين كله ولو كره المشركون. أما بعد فيا الإخوان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أوصيكم وإياي بتقوى الله فإن خير الزاد التقوى والعاقبة للمتقين. ويقول رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إياكم ومحدثات الأمور فإن كل محدثة بدع وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار وعياذ بالله والعاقبة للمتقين. In the few minutes that I have today, I will first remind myself then you of something pertinent in regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's deen. And if we are sincere and we try our utmost, with Allah's mercy, we will be successful in this world and in the hereafter. And inshallah ta'ala, we will reflect on the brief meaning of a few verses from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's book as a way of enhancing our understanding what our relationship should be like. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2 of the Quran, starting with verse number 40, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأوفوا بأهدي أوف بأهديكم وإياي فارهبون وآمنوا بما أنزلت مصدقا لما معكم ولا تكونوا أول كافر به ولا تشتروا بآياتي ثمنا قليلا وإياي فاتقون ولا تلبسوا الحق بالباطل وتكتموا الحق وأنتم تعلمون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in reminding us in this glorious book of guidance about his relationship and the relationship with Bani Israel and him and his prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. And he is saying, Ya Bani Israel, O people of Bani Israel, the people of Israel, remember my favors unto you and fulfill this covenant that I have with you, and do not be from amongst the first to disbelieve, and do not trade your faith for something minimal, and fear none except me, and do not conceal the truth with falsehood, and you know what the truth is. Now, many people may ask why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decide to do this. And if you go to the books of tafsir, you would find that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, as was reported or recorded by Abu Dawood at-Tayalisi, that Abdullah ibn Abbas said that the Prophet ﷺ asked a group of Jews that came to him and said, Hal ta'alamuna anna Israel Yaqub, or anna Yaqub Israel? He said, do you know that Israel is Yaqub, or Yaqub is Israel? And they said, Na'am, that we know this. So the father of the Israelites, the father of Bani Israel, go back to Yaqub, who himself was known as Israel. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, Allahumma shahad, O Allah, bear testimony to this, that they are saying that this is the situation. So they are confirming what the Prophet ﷺ is saying in regards to this. So then Allah is reprimanding them, because when the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina and he encountered Bani Israel, the Jews, they were the first set of people of Jewish background to come into contact with him as a group, as a community. And they are the first to disbelieve in him. And they had many reasons why they were putting forth to him. One of it is that they reject him because he was not one from among them. So Allah is reprimanding them, and he said, O Bani Israel, remember my favors unto you. And the Jews can't deny this. The people of the book can't deny them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did favor them in many respects. Manna wa salwa. He saved them from the oppression of Pharaoh. And a host of other things, splitting the Red Sea and saved them. Amongst the major signs that were given to them. Amongst the signs that were given, as the scholars recorded, 9 major signs as mentioned in the Quran was given to them even before the Red Sea was split. And after that they received many more. But they still disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because they were very obstinate in their ways, and they were very self-opinionated, and they want things to happen their way all the time. So Allah is reprimanding them. He said, believe in Muhammad and follow the covenant. The covenant I have with you is that anyone who I send, once it is confirmed that they have my message, you will believe in them. Why are you disobeying him now? Why are you rejecting him? Because you have your own whims and fancies, and they're saying that he's not from amongst us. We believe in what is revealed to us, and we believe what was given to us, but we don't believe what he has, and we don't want to accept what he has. But yet still, when it comes to receiving social justice, he was the best man amongst them. So that is what is happening with the Muslims today. People are saying, we don't believe in what the Muslims have, because that revelation we don't true. But if you want good, then you go to these people. If you want justice, social justice, you refer to them. And we make that relationship like that because we failed in many respects, and I'm not putting anybody down or saying I'm part of this, to represent this deen the way it is meant. And that is according to Allah's book and the dictates of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Bani Israel played these tricks with him when he came and his companions, but they never fell victims to their traps. They never turned to them and say, you are the people with revelation and guidance, and you received revelation before, you received guidance before, so we should listen to also what you have to say, or we should compromise what Muhammad is saying. No, there was two distinct groups. The Christians and the Jews and everyone else was on one side, and the Muslims were on one side. Those who received revelation through the path of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, they stuck to him, and whatever Muhammad said was golden rule. Whatever Muhammad said was golden rule. It doesn't matter what came from those who received revelation or had a message before or had an impact on society before. All the theology that came before had an impact on society because they all had following. But the Muslims are unique. And we who know the truth should not be like them. Know the truth and still willingly want to conceal the truth because we want to receive and to be beneficiaries of the world's favors. Forgetting that the greatest favor that you and I can receive is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Do not be from amongst those. So brothers and sisters, the little that we know about this deen, let us sincerely try to establish that, or let it be known that this is what authentic Islam is. And we should not compromise that little that we know with what we are not sure of, because we are aware of it. Today you visit many Muslim homes, you want to know if it is a Muslim home or someone who were involved in idol worshipping. Today you go to a Muslim funeral, you want to know if you're attending a TV funeral or a janazah. You go to a Muslim wedding, the only thing you can recognize that it is Islamic, that they do the ijab and qabul. And we made it like that because we want to follow, we want to imitate, and we want to look like them. Today they have a new source according to people of Islamic injunction, what our children want. Many people say, well, our children of today want it this way, so we finance them and we give them their way. If you and I behave like that, we will be just like Bani Israel. Know the truth, conceal the truth, and then still want to be part of everything. How you and I would be able to promote the truth so that others can recognize it as the truth. I went to a few weddings and there were Christians there, our neighbors, and they came back and they said, that is the way Muslims do their weddings? That we don't even do our weddings like this, with all the open entertainment. And then we had to explain to them that Muslims don't do it like that. It is just that these people want to follow the others. I mean, I'm talking about the music, I'm talking about the drinking. The only thing you hear a little bit is when they do ijab and qabul. And you know what people say? Young people of today, they want it, the children want it like that, so we give them. Know that you're contributing to something that is not proper. Because Bani Israel hold the same relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You and I have a covenant with Allah. Once we say La ilaha illallah, is to uphold the standards of Allah, regardless who like it or who don't. Once Allah is with us and we're with Allah. So Bani Israel corrupt their deen because of the same approach. Today Muslims have this permissive approach to their deen, all of us. We want what suits us. And we don't want to adhere to what would make us suitable to Allah or in Allah's side. That becomes problematic. And that becomes fundamental. And that becomes harshness. That becomes what you might call strict behavior. Today when you try to uphold Quran and Sunnah, people say you're a very strict Muslim. And they refer to that individual, oh, that's a very upright individual. Aren't all of us supposed to be upright? Aren't all of us supposed to adhere to the principles of Allah? Aren't all of us supposed to adhere to what Allah stands for? And that is basically what it is. We may be poor people, we may be strong people, we may be rich people, we may be poor, we may be socially elevated, we may be people in the lowest strata of society, but we have one obligation, to be sincere to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in closing, I'll give you a little story that happened way back in the 1950s. And I feel compelled to share this story. Because if you and I do the right thing, individual will hold on to it. In 1955, you see that airline that they call United Airlines, it started way back in the 1920s. And they were the first to have a transcontinental flight from New York to California. First, direct. Before that, they used to have transit flights where you stop 2-3 places before you arrive there. In the 1950s, they started. So there was a Syrian family that were migrating from Syria to the US. So in 1955, the father left his wife and 3 daughters back in Syria, and he came to the United States. He got his papers fixed, and then he sent back whatever was needed for his family to come. So the mother and 3 daughters, they were flying subsequently after that. And in the late 1950s, there were 3 major air disasters where commercial flights were concerned. And this family came to New York, and they were supposed to connect to go to California. So in their interview, because it was their first port of entry, they had to go through the interview to process their residency. So the mother went in for her interview, and they told her she had to take her hijab off because that is the only way they can take her picture. So she willingly, without fuss, took her hijab off and got processed. The eldest daughter was called in. They told her the same thing. You need to take your scarf off so we can take your pictures. She did that without any question. The second daughter did the same. When they called the 13-year-old now, she said, no, I'm not taking my hijab off. So they said, well, you can be processed and whatever the situation got. So she told them, look, if you don't accept me for my religious practices, well, then you can send me back to Syria. 13 years old in 1956. She said, send me back to Syria, because if I'm not welcome with my religious practices, well, then I don't need to be here. So everybody got a little aggravated, and they were surprised now. Even the person interviewing her tell her, well, then you will not be able to process. You have to go back. She said, yes, send me back to Syria. So the mother, they brought the mother and the 2 daughters in, the sisters, and they got aggravated, and they're getting upset with the 13-year-old. Why don't you want to do this? Why don't you just do it and let's go? It's just taking your scarf off. She said, no. So they brought the supervisor and they brought the head of security, and they're trying to convince this 13-year-old standing in the midst of all these adults. This is going on for hours now. And she's saying, no, I would not budge. So what they did, they sent the mother in by herself to talk to her by herself. She was not convinced. They sent the 2 sisters one by one, each to the 13-year-old. That they're thinking now, they talk to her by herself. She'll become convinced. So then she addressed all of them afterwards. She said, it doesn't matter who you send here to me. I'm not taking this hijab off. This is a religious obligation. So eventually, with all the frustration, after she determined, well, send me back to Syria, they decided to process her with the hijab. This is way back in 1956, right? And that woman is still alive now to tell her story, right? So they processed her. When they came out now, they were supposed to join United flight going to California. They missed the flight. And in the process now, they're going back and forth with the counter trying to get new reservation, or they have to buy new tickets. Eventually, they decide to give them a later flight. They're waiting in the airport, and they got news that the plane that they were supposed to be on crashed, and it became the worst air disaster in commercial flights up to that time in the history of aviation. Everyone died. So the 13-year-old looked to the rest of them now. See this? Have all of us here with the mercy of Allah. So you don't know, when you hold on with whatever little you know to the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow His instruction, regardless who come and tell you what and what would serve you and what would bring benefit to you, Allah have greater things in store for you. So the father is in California, and in those days there was not too much cell phone communication or this rapid communications, either by tower or by radio or whatever they had available then, or limited telephone use. So the father, he didn't know what was happening. So he started to cry on the other end. They subsequently went on a later flight, and he was very happy to see them. Right? So the point of contention here is that this 13-year-old is still alive today to tell her story. And nothing has changed for her. She's still alive, and I'm pretty sure she's successful at what she does. So all of us, brothers and sisters, forget about what the world. Allah is the master controller. Allah is the giver of everything. Only Allah can deny you something. And only Allah can offer you something. Forget what the rest of the world is saying. And if you and I are polite and respectful enough, the rest of the world will come to understand. Today, Muslims with hijab can be processed even to receive their passport. Right? And it is an accepted form of dress. So brothers and sisters, be careful. Whatever little you and I know, I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and I, that we are sincere in it, and we will present it, or it will be presented on our behalf to the rest of the world at what proper Islam is, so that people can learn from this. Do not allow our actions to conceal that which is beneficial to others. Every element of Islam is a form of mercy and a source of benefit to us and to others. فاستغفروه فإنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه الكرام ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أولا نصلي ونسلم على سيدنا ورسولنا صلى الله عليه وسلم. فإن الله يقول في كتاب العزيز إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من صلى علي مرة صلى الله به عليه عشر. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. أقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.